Picture a man who stands alone, not as a castaway adrift in a sea of isolation, but as a solitary star blazing in an infinite cosmos of his own making. Society labels him an anomaly, a loner who declines invitations to crowded gatherings not out of shyness or disdain, but because he finds a deeper communion in the silence of his own soul. He does not broadcast his breakfast on social media, does not crave the fleeting rush of digital likes, does not falter when his phone lies silent. While the world drowns in a cacophony of notifications, chatter, and curated performances, he thrives in the quiet, a sovereign of his inner realm. Society calls him broken, a misfit, a shadow on the margins. But this judgment masks a truth that threatens to unravel the very fabric of our collective existence. This man is not merely living, he is thriving, wielding a power so profound that it shakes the foundations of a validation-obsessed world. His solitude is not a cell but a cathedral, a fortress where he forges his purpose, a lighthouse illuminating truths others fear to face. In his stillness, he is not absent but ascendant, a force unchained by the shackles of conformity. The modern world is a meticulously crafted machine of dependence, engineered to tether your worth to external sources. From the moment you wake, you are bombarded with commands to consume. Advertisements promise joy through purchases. Social platforms measure your value in likes and followers. Cultural norms equate solitude with failure and connection with success. Silence is uncomfortable, aloneness a defect, contentment without company a pathology. You are urged to fill every moment with noise, podcasts on commutes, chatter at work, endless texting to stave off the dread of your own thoughts. This is no coincidence. It is a deliberate architecture designed to keep you tethered to systems that profit from your insecurity, an economy that thrives on your neediness, a society that demands your conformity. The man who loves to be alone defies this script. He is dangerous because he is free from the addiction to approval, free from the fear of silence, free from the compulsion to perform. His inner peace is a rebellion, a cosmic declaration that exposes the fragility of a world built on dependence, a mirror that reflects the chains others wear unknowingly. This exploration plunges into the philosophy, psychology, and spirituality of solitude, drawing on the timeless wisdom of Arthur Schopenhauer, Marcus Aurelius, Carl Jung, and Friedrich Nietzsche, who understood the transformative power of embracing one's own company. It examines why society fears the solitary sovereign, how solitude fosters self-mastery, and how this path redefines happiness, relationships, leadership, and purpose. Through historical, mythological, literary, scientific, and modern lenses, we unveil the radical power of solitude, offering a blueprint for transcending societal illusions to become not just alive, but thriving, a force so unshakable that it redefines the very nature of existence. The lie of dependence, a global conspiracy of control. Society's narrative is a siren song. You are incomplete without others. Every advertisement, algorithm, and cultural edict insists that happiness lies in external validation, connection, consumption, conformity. Wake up and check what others are doing. Fill silence with podcasts, social media, or gossip. Seek company to feel whole. This is not a suggestion, but a strategy. A global economy built on your insecurity. A lonely person is a profitable one, buying products to soothe discontent, chasing relationships to escape emptiness, drowning in distractions to avoid their own thoughts. By conflating solitude with loneliness, society pathologizes self-sufficiency, framing it as a flaw to be fixed with purchases, followers, or approval. The solitary individual, thriving in silence, shatters this illusion. He does not consume needlessly, does not seek validation, does not bend to conformity. His independence is a crack in the system's foundation, a beacon that exposes the lie that happiness requires external scaffolding. This conspiracy of dependence is not new. It has evolved through history. In ancient tribal societies, collective survival demanded conformity, but solitude was revered as a path to wisdom. Shamans and seers sought isolation for insight. The Industrial Revolution shifted this, prioritizing collective labor and consumption, while the digital age has weaponized connectivity, turning attention into currency. Social platforms profit from your need to be seen. Algorithms amplify your insecurities, and cultural norms stigmatize silence as antisocial. The solitary individual, rejecting this, becomes a countercultural force. Their contentment a critique of collective discontent. Their freedom a rebellion against a system that thrives on your dependence. Philosophical pillars: Schopenhauer, Aurelius, Jung, and Nietzsche. Through Schopenhauer's declaration, "A man can be himself only so long as he is alone," captures the essence of solitude as the crucible of authenticity. In a world that demands performance, the solitary strip away masks, confronting their true selves without distraction. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations found his sanctuary within, writing, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." His solitude was a forge, tempering his mind against the manipulations of the Roman court, a practice that allowed him to lead with clarity amidst chaos. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the integration of one's shadow, the hidden aspects of the psyche, reveals why solitude is transformative. By facing their fears, flaws, and contradictions alone, the solitary become whole, not fragmented by societal expectations. Friedrich Nietzsche's insight, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow," underscores the power of solitude to uncover purpose, freeing one from the crowd's dictates. These thinkers converge on a truth: solitude is not isolation, but liberation, a path to self-knowledge that society fears. The solitary individual is dangerous because they have answered the questions most avoid. Who am I without others? What truly matters to me? Their answers make them untouchable. A force immune to flattery, guilt, or fear. Additional philosophical voices amplify this. Søren Kierkegaard saw solitude as the path to authentic existence, warning that the crowd drowns individuality. Laozi, in the Tao Te Ching praised stillness as the source of wisdom, a state where one aligns with the universe's rhythm. The psychology of solitude, forging the unshakable self. What happens in the mind of one who embraces solitude? First, they break the addiction to external validation. While others chase dopamine hits from likes and comments, the solitary find validation in self-respect, rooted in alignment with their values. This independence unnerves, rendering them immune to social games. Flattery loses its allure, criticism its sting, status its power. Second, they embrace the discomfort of silence. Most flee their thoughts, filling every moment with noise to avoid the mirror of self-reflection. The solitary, however, face Jung's shadow, their fears, flaws, desires emerging stronger, unafraid of silence's revelations. Third, they are impervious to manipulation. Free from the need for approval, they cannot be swayed by rejection, guilt, or social pressure, a rogue element in a system that thrives on compliance. The psychological resilience is evident in historical figures like Henry David Thoreau, who retreated to Walden Pond to live deliberately, rejecting materialism for self-discovery. In mythology, Hermes, the Greek god of boundaries, thrived in solitude, his independence a source of cunning and strength. Modern examples include Simone Biles, who prioritized mental health over societal expectations, her solitude a shield against pressure, and Elon Musk, whose solitary vision drives innovation. Unmoved by public opinion, psychologically, solitude rewires the brain, enhancing focus and resilience. Studies in neuroscience suggest that solitude reduces stress on the prefrontal cortex, improving decision-making and emotional regulation, making the solitary not just mentally, but neurologically optimized. The cultural evolution of solitude. From sacred to suspect, solitude was once a sacred path to wisdom. Ancient Stoics, Buddhist monks, and Christian ascetics saw it as a gateway to enlightenment. Buddha under the Bodhi tree, Jesus in the desert, Muhammad in a cave. These solitary retreats yielded truths that reshaped civilizations. But as societies grew interconnected, solitude became suspect. The Enlightenment prioritized reason and community. The Industrial Revolution, collective labor. And the digital age has turned connectivity into a religion, rewarding exposure with likes and punishing silence with obscurity. Social media platforms profit from comparison. Algorithms amplify insecurity, and cultural norms label the solitary as antisocial or broken. The man who thrives alone is a countercultural force, their peace a rebellion against a system that equates busyness with worth. This cultural shift explains the fear of solitude. The solitary expose the emptiness of a society obsessed with external validation, their contentment a critique of collective discontent. Literary figures like Emily Dickinson, who crafted poetry in seclusion, and modern outliers like Keanu Reeves, whose private authenticity captivates millions, show how solitude breeds a magnetic presence. Their independence challenges a culture that profits from neediness, their silence a mirror reflecting society's fragility. The paradox of solitude, magnetic authenticity in relationships. The solitary individual is not against connection, but against falsehood. They seek quality over quantity, forging deep relationships with those who know their true self, not shallow ties with those who demand performance. Their authenticity is magnetic, drawing others not because they need them, but because they choose them. This paradox, needing relationships least yet having the best, stems from their wholeness. They bring their complete self to connections, free from neediness, making their presence genuine, their commitment solid, their care profound. This threatens industries built on romantic insecurity, dating apps, relationship advice, self-help gurus for their freedom, exposes the desperation these systems exploit. In literature, Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird embodies this, his quiet integrity attracting respect without seeking it. Modern figures like Greta Thunberg, whose solitary convictions sparked a global movement, show how authenticity born of solitude captivates. To cultivate this, prioritize relationships that honor your truth, reject those that demand performance, and value your own company above all. The solitary's relationships are not chains, but bridges, built on choice, not need. The creative and intellectual fruits of solitude is not idleness, but creation. While others consume drama, opinions, and distractions, the solitary build. They read books that expand their minds, develop skills through deep practice, and engage in self-reflection that forges resilience. This is not to prove a point, but because it aligns with their truth. Beethoven, isolated by deafness, composed symphonies that reshaped music, his solitude a crucible for genius. Frida Kahlo transformed pain into art through solitary reflection, her work a testament to self-mastery. Isaac Newton formulated his laws of motion in isolation during the plague, his solitude a laboratory for discovery. The solitary create not for applause but for authenticity, their work a silent rebellion against conformity. Intellectually, solitude fosters what psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls flow, a state of deep focus that produces breakthroughs. Writers like Franz Kafka and scientists like Marie Curie thrived in solitude, their isolation unlocking insights that changed the world. The solitary mind is a forge, its silence the fire that tempers ideas into steel. The evolutionary biology of solitude from an evolutionary perspective. Solitude is a survival mechanism. Early humans balanced group cooperation with solitary foraging, using isolation to sharpen instincts and problem solving. Modern research, such as studies by neuroscientist John Cacioppo, shows solitude reduces cognitive overload, enhancing clarity and creativity. The solitary individual's relaxed nervous system, better sleep, and intentional eating reflect a body optimized for survival, not just a mind freed from stress. This biological edge makes them dangerous, their vitality a critique of a society that thrives on exhaustion. Solitude and leadership. The silent sovereign leadership is not about controlling others, but mastering oneself. The solitary individual, through years of self-reflection, knows their strengths, weaknesses, and motivations, making them unshakable. Real leaders are forged in solitude, not boardrooms. Nelson Mandela's 27 years in prison, much in solitary confinement, honed his resolve, enabling him to lead South Africa to reconciliation. In mythology, Odin sacrificed an eye for wisdom and solitude, his clarity guiding the Norse gods. Modern leaders like Angela Merkel used reserved detachment to navigate global crises. Their solitude is a source of strategic power. The solitary leader is dangerous because their self-knowledge makes them effective, their silence inspiring others to follow. The spiritual transcendence of solitude is a sacred space, a retreat where truth is found. Every major spiritual tradition reveres it. Buddha's nirvana under the Bodhi tree, Jesus' clarity in the desert, Muhammad's revelation in a cave. The solitary individual, whether religious or not, taps into this transcendence, finding peace, God, or truth without institutional mediation. Their spiritual vitality is dangerous, a rebellion against a world that sells salvation through consumption. Figures like Rumi, whose poetry emerged from solitary contemplation, show how solitude births universal truths. The solitary soul is a cathedral, its silence a hymn to the divine within. The existential liberation, architect of your reality solitude, is an existential rebellion, confronting the questions most avoid. Who am I without others? What is my purpose? By answering these, the solitary transcends societal illusions, becoming architects of their own reality. They are not victims of circumstance, but creators of experience. Their freedom a threat to a world that demands dependence. Socrates faced death with solitary clarity. Malala Yousafzai stood firm against oppression, their resolve reshaping history. The solitary mind is a cosmos. Its silence the void where new worlds are born. The call to thriveth man who loves to be alone is not broken, he is free. He has discovered that happiness, worth, and purpose come from within, not the crowd. His solitude is a rebellion, a refusal to live someone else's script. Dare to join him, sit in silence, face your shadow, find your why, reject the noise, neediness, conformity, become a fortress, a lighthouse, a star that shines alone. In a world that profits from your enslavement, your freedom is dangerous, your authenticity magnetic, your solitude the key to thriving. Stop running from yourself and start running toward who you were meant to be, a sovereign of your inner cosmos.